Thank you for joining us for our Spooktober 2021 review. There will be a lot of spoilers for the following.
What was the first one I picked? I'm looking at the list now, and even
I'm pretty sure it was Identity.
I don't think it's a horror movie, so I might have picked this one wrong.
It's a psychological thriller that falls under the very broad umbrella of horror.
Like it does have some scenes, some like transitions, which do feel kind of horror inspired, but I came out of it thinking it wasn't really a horror movie, and I remembered it differently from like 10 years ago. So
I mean, it is and it isn't.
I really like
not
the
like
movie.
a traditional horror or anything.
I really like the movie, so I'm not complaining.
positives, like I think we mentioned it on the night, like the locale to that place, like the motel in the middle of the desert at night on like the storm of the century. It's pretty great.
Not too dissimilar so far as, middle of nowhere motel thing to Psycho with the Bates Motel in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, totally different story. But the locale and the situation with being stuck there for whatever reason, everybody was stuck, kind of had a little Psycho vibe with that.
Like, that's easily the coolest thing. Because it's just such an unnaturally but like genuinely interesting kind of place to present it. It was like shot really well.
Yeah. And it does kind of fit because it was all going in the head of a psychotic killer. So being set like Psycho kind of fit. It was thematic. Personally, I like the movie a lot. There's not really a whole lot to say about it without giving everything away, but we are going ahead and doing spoilers.
Joe, you watched this like 10 years ago, didn't you? You were younger.
I saw the second half of it 10 years ago when I was substituting in a film class. And it's kind of weird because this is the first time I've actually seen the entire movie. And I already knew the twist, but I didn't know how we got to the twist. And
Did you enjoy the ride?
Yeah, ish, I guess. This kind of reminds me of John Carpenter's, I think it's his newest movie. It was my newest. I mean, he did it like 10 years ago. It was starring Amber Heard. I forget the name of the movie. I think it came out in 2010. About I believe it was about a murder at a psych ward, and the twist of that movie is very, very similar to the twist in this movie.
Is this that Bodies movie that he did?
I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's like called Bodies or something.
I haven't seen that. So, was anybody surprised by who the actual psycho killer was?
No.
No.
I thought they played it pretty well, though.
Oh, that movie is called The Ward.
The Ward. Thank you, Phil.
I think when I first watched this, I didn't put too much thought into it. Obviously, I was younger. I didn't care at the time. I was just like, oh, cool. John Cusack and Ray Liotta, like two great actors. And,
yeah.
I remember John C. McGinley from like the first few times I was watching Scrubs, and like, oh, he's in there as well. Doesn't play much of a big role, but there's a few others as well in there. Shocking. It was the guy who played Eobard Thawne in the first few minutes. There was Alfred Molina throughout the entire thing. He's great.
Jacob Carter from Stargate.
Yeah, he was helping out with the defense, wasn't he? He was on Molina's side, yeah. Huh. Don't know that actor's name. He's in a lot, though.
Yeah, he is.
One of those character actors you see everywhere.
You wouldn't know the name of, actually.
What did you think of it, Kieran? Did you like it?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god,
Wow.
project.
Okay. And then the next was truly a Halloween movie. Definitely Spooktober fair, and it was Trick or Treat, the anthology movie, with technically kind of 4 stories going on. I love that one. I saw this quite some time ago.
Yeah, you've seen this one.
Not long after it came out, Bill had asked me if it was any good, and I was like, yes, watch it. And
So
finally,
me and Joe watched the media, and they brought up Trick or Treat many years ago on like a Halloween special, and they mentioned like, "Oh, this was great. Nobody ever watched it. It was sent straight to DVD." And I'm glad I waited, or rather, I'm glad I should have not waited really and watched the whole thing myself.
yeah, but you finally did. That's what matters.
We got around to it in the end. Yeah, you're right.
I really like this. I like the way everything does connect eventually, somehow. Of course, best character was the dog.
Oh, was this was this Brian Cox's dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. That little guy. He was fun.
Such a little cutie.
Max, get in there!
Probably the most fun movie of Phil's picks.
I mean, it's the most appropriate, really, thematically, when you think about it.
I mean, it was a hell of a lot more funny than Club Dread. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we'll get around to that one.
Yeah, we're getting to that one next.
After Club Dread.
Kieran, do you have anything to say about Trick or Treat?
Nothing good.
Okay.
Do you not like the child actors? Do you not like the story?
No.
It's...
As far as child actors go, there's considerably worse out there. I'll give it that. But didn't like the stories and just a lot of things in it.
Did you not
You
like how?
didn't even like the Werewolf Girls?
Yeah, I was about to go into that. Then, yeah,
Yeah, that was great.
like how very well built up that whole storyline is. Between...
It's her first time.
That was honestly my favorite one. And I love the build up how she's wearing the Little Red Riding Hood costume.
It felt like a very extended story for something that could have been literally just 5-10 minutes. It's like one standalone kind of joke, as it was.
The punchline is very well built up, though. You gotta admit.
It gets a pass because it's a comedy, but that gag, even though it's my favorite one, well, story I should say, has one small flaw as I see it. And it's, who the hell buys their Halloween costume on Halloween night?
People who don't plan ahead or who procrastinate too much.
But like there is, at least in my area, there is like nothing available at that point. Like you get the bottom of the barrel, like most simple Halloween costumes you could think of. Like,
oh, you mean like Red Riding Hood?
No, the other girls were like in legit costumes, and no, there would not be a Red Riding Hood. There'd be like police officer. There'd be like prisoner.
I'm
like
saying
that
that
generic.
kind of scraping bottom of the barrel.
There would not be a Dorothy costume like the one Wolf Girl was.
Okay, what you're describing is like people who are fanatics who anticipate this seasonal like weekend, day of the week, this evening, where they plan ahead for months on end with like the most extravagant or like well thought out costume ever. You spend a ton of money on that, right? Whereas, yeah, if like they're just invited out for the weekend on one night and they just decide, screw it, let's go get a costume then. Like, that's the casual mentality.
Or, well, really, quite frankly, it's
Also,
played off like they didn't know where they were going to land. They were just going to a new place, somewhere they hadn't been before, so they could get fresh meat. So they probably didn't even intend to necessarily stop in that one specific area. That's why they didn't know where they were going to order anything ahead
Yeah,
and
well,
would just take whatever was handy.
fair
I
point. Like going around to Starfair, it's probably gonna be a licensing nightmare too.
I thought they were like planning a party though, because like they had a party planned out, a
No,
wink wink party planned out in the woods.
that's just, out in the woods is where you do that type of hunting. Not that
They
many
had,
witnesses.
they had
Witnesses at dinner.
snacks. They had snacks. They had drinks.
They were
I believe
people.
music was being played.
Yeah, but none of that takes a lot of planning.
It was very tasteful, yeah.
And tasty, I'm sure. Drink, Phil.
For what?
Just because. I love Trick or Treat. I also love Identity. I think Phil did pretty darn good with most of his picks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We're coming to Club Dread and Prometheus, so you sure about that?
Okay. Yeah, but just remember, I have my own opinion. It doesn't necessarily match yours. Okay. Kieran hated it. Phil liked it. I think Joe liked it. I love it. Next movie. Club Dread.
Crap. Terrible. Okay, a month before we watched Super Troopers on like a wheel spin.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a bit of fun that night. It was okay. It wasn't like as great as Crank or anything that we remember. But yeah. And
Yes.
so it crossed my mind thinking of movies like very on the back burner. Like, hey, there's a tropical island horror that I watched with Joe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
You weren't a fan of that even then, but there was a few things you did, like the Jimmy Buffett thing we were about to go.
Well, that's the highlight of the movie, the fact that they mock the hell out of Jimmy Buffett, and I despise Jimmy Buffett.
Painful memories.
I've never met him, so I have no reason to like or dislike him.
I despise his music. How about that?
Okay.
So the most interesting thing about this movie is the locale, and maybe Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton is always funny.
Like,
Bill Paxton's great.
seems to be a recurring thing actually with me in my movies. Like locales are the venue is the most interesting thing. But yeah, like the tropical island, the beautiful resort, no strings attached honeymoon resort for people just going there to chill out and have a nice weekend. All the crazy
Would
teenagers.
it kill you to sleep with some of the guests?
Was actually a line in that movie, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Is it too much to ask for some of you to have sex with the guests?
I do like the fact that it sets up everybody is a suspect who's a key character in like the first.
Yeah.
That's a really nice opening where everybody pisses off somebody and it just slowly pans on their face reacting to it. Like motivation made. But I don't know what the intention of the comedy. It's supposed to be a comedy first and then a horror afterwards, like a murder mystery.
To me, it was silly. Not funny so much as silly.
It follows the Friday the 13th rules for a while, where a lot of characters die and nobody seems to either notice or give a damn. Where's Ted? We haven't seen him in 3 days. He's just jerking off in the woods. Leave him be.
Help me. From like the very corner of the audio.
So, I mean, were they making fun of that trope? Were they just copying it? I don't know, but it's
Yes.
cringy regardless.
It was just silly. I think the whole thing was meant to be silly. It really felt like it was meant to be silly to me.
Like I don't know what they were trying to go for. Like it was comedic in some way, like odd and stiff to the situation where everybody's just being loosey and charismatic and trying to be as happy as possible.
We should probably note that when me and Phil saw this movie originally 3, 4, 5 years ago, we saw an extended cut, and at the time we didn't realize it was an extended cut.
It's like
Where-
40 minutes longer.
Where the first victim's body washes up on shore, and 2 detectives come to the island, one of them played by another Stargate actor, ironically enough, the candy bar man from the original Stargate movie, the guy who Daniel Jackson gives a candy bar to.
I actually think it's the same guy we're talking about. You know, from Identity. I think it's the same actor.
No, in Identity, it's Carter's father.
Isn't that the one that comes to the island and...
No, that's not Carter's father. That's Candy Bar Man.
No, it's the Toker guy. Yeah, it's the Toker guy who comes to the island on Identity.
No, that's the guy in Identity. The Toker guy is Jacob Carter's father, aka Selmac. Candy Bar Man is the guy from the movie who Daniel Jackson gives the candy bar to, and then the tribe gives them water and thinks they're gods. And that guy is in Club Dread, or at least the extended cut.
I mean, those scenes don't add anything to the movie.
They don't.
Like
They do. They add a great gag to the movie though that goes nowhere, and there's a character who's the quote unquote fun police, and the real detectives mistake him for an actual officer, and it leads to some great comedy. The problem is, this is a spoiler, but we find out later on that
comes the villain.
We're spoiling.
that
Right.
character is in fact been the killer the entire time, and that ruins the gag for me. Like a fake cop thinking he's a real cop, and that he can actually solve a actual police case and doing a terrible job of doing it, is kind of entertaining for me.
Doesn't his motivation at the end of that movie just end up being like, oh, I just got somebody sold my bag of grass? Like, that was it. Like, it's a light laugh, but at the same time, it's like, okay. You just move on. You don't care anymore. Jeez, that guy gets, like, sliced to ribbons, too. They cut him in half, he survives. He gets thrown in the water, he drowns, he survives. He gets harpooned for the chest, he survives. Like, he just keeps going.
Kind of like a lot of horror movie villains, that have lots of sequels.
It's kind of different in this case, because he's not exactly Leslie Vernon, he's just some guy. But yeah,
Leslie Vernon was just some guy.
Hey, for all we know, this guy put in a lot of prep work.
yeah, thanks Leslie Vernon, you're teaching us a lot about that.
About how to be a proper serial killer.
I will say I had a bit of a Mandela effect rewatching this movie with you guys. When me and Phil, well, maybe he does in the extended cut, but I can. All right, do you remember the one character? I believe he's Hispanic, and he dies in the water shortly towards the end.
Oh, I forgot that guy. It doesn't matter. Like, I know the guy you're on about, yeah.
I could have sworn, at least the version me and Phil saw, that character lives, and the
Maybe
version.
Who cares? But like, it could be. You never know.
It could be. Maybe in the extended cut he lives, and in the regular version he dies.
I don't know. I didn't hate Club Dread.
It's the weakest of my six.
It definitely was very weak.
Sure liked it. That's the thing that shocks me. That's legitimately shocking.
It's not that I liked it. I just liked it better than Trick or Treat, and the next one on the list.
It was super silly. I'm not usually a big fan of silly, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I have to be in a certain mood for silly, and I guess I was in the mood for silly that night.
Did you enjoy Bill Paxton at least? Because he's great.
Always.
That even as like a washed up Jimmy Buffett, he still manages to steal this movie for what limited presence he has on it. But he's still interacting with like the guys who work there.
Like, how the hell am I supposed to know what I wrote? I was high as fuck.
the song lyrics are probably my favorite gag of the movie.
Like
Like
used,
something
like,
about Jimmy the Crab being high as a kite.
and like his body was actually like high as a kite.
Yeah. None of it meant anything. It was just random shit I wrote. But like I said, I guess I was in the mood that night for silly.
And then we watched Prometheus.
Yes, we did. I like Prometheus okay.
I liked it better this time around, and I hate myself for saying that.
I liked it better this time around as well because we mostly talked through it and shit on it.
I think it's knowing what to
How
expect.
you did.
I think it's knowing what to expect and appreciating the creativity it has. Because okay, there are some things in Prometheus that I still don't like to this day. But
Guy
there's
Pearce?
no, I don't like the idea of like finding out the xenomorph is just a biological weapon at the end of the day. Like I'd rather not know altogether.
Yeah, for it to just be a mysterious
Yeah, like
death machine.
just leave it be like this eldritch abomination from beyond. I don't need to know what the hell it is. It's freaky as hell. It scares the crap out of men, especially.
I don't like that the space jockey are people. I would prefer them as weird elephant things.
Too bad the beautiful 9-foot tall titans now. All muscular, white-faced, in biomechanical suits, and they know all the secrets of the universe. They just hate you.
Because reasons.
Nah, failed experiment. I mean, look at him. Have you seen the people on this planet lately? Oh, Lord. Stupidity. Anyway. I'm don't get me wrong. Some people are great.
Hey
Dogs
guys,
are wonderful.
Joe, we found this cave painting deep from the Isle of Skye in Scotland that's 14,000 years of age. They're pointing at a star. Let's go there. Like, what? Ow!
Now we should rewind a bit. I think, with the exception of Kieran, all of us have seen Prometheus prior to our viewing it together. Am I correct on that assumption?
Yeah, I saw it once.
I can't imagine what this viewing experience was like.
Now, me and Phil, possibly Carol too, I'm not sure, have been very big Alien fans for a very long time. Phil probably more than any of us.
I love.
I'm not necessarily a fan. I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just kind of there.
Like Alien and Aliens are kind of like the horror Bible for me. Like the first two movies are perfect in every way, but they do things differently from one another. That's like one is clearly meant to be more of an action film despite its horror roots, and the other one is clearly pure horror, but it's a slow burn.
And the third one is just depression.
Woohoo!
I'm more like, I like it okay. It's not like I dislike it, not like I have a problem with it, but I'm not a fan.
Now,
There's a huge difference.
I only bring this up because Phil, probably the biggest Alien fan I know. And he saw this movie originally in, oh God, when did this come out? 2012,
It was 2000.
I think? And this movie kind of broke your heart, didn't it, at the time?
Yeah, we watched the trailer. I linked you to the trailer. I was like, damn, that's good. I was like, yeah, it's really good. The trailer is using the klaxon sound effect from the original movie. That warping.
Like, I feel like I've never seen you become so excited about something to see your excitement deflate so quickly than when you originally saw this movie.
And then when you sit down in that cinema screen and you see that beautiful overlaid shot of Iceland, like the camera just panning across it there, and it's got this beautiful kind of like soothing female voice, like a chorus, just being overlaid on it. And you're watching everything go down. I'm sat there in the audience, a younger me 10 years ago, watching this with popcorn in hand, gulping this all down, trying to get to the bottom of this bucket. And then the words, Damon Lindelof, screenplay, comes on screen. And there's gulp. Like, I don't have popcorn in my throat at the time. I'm just gulping for the sake of it. my soul just goes down into my diaphragm and never returns. Lindelof's recurring thing is a case of, okay, but why did that happen? Because it just did. And it could be a science fiction show, it could be the most absurd sequence imaginable, it could be just anything arbitrarily.
Doesn't he like to shoehorn religion in a lot of his stuff too?
That was a popular thing in this too, like, okay, why did you do that? Because I choose to. Because I believe it was the right thing. That's not a good explanation though. Like, there's so much at stake here, just don't do that.
For me, it's like an interesting thing too, because the writing is so disconnected from the actual talent on screen. Because we got some really great people in this movie, many of who we love.
So much of this movie, production-wise, is like sublime to look at. You've got Idris Elba, you've got Charlize Theron, you've got like up-and-coming great talent from like 10 years ago.
Michael Fassbender.
Like Fassbender was just discovered the year prior to that when he made that X-Men movie, and Inglourious, I think, like the same year. But so many people were upcoming at the time, and just this is gold. You can see it being like a blockbuster that summer. Like, think about this. The soundtrack is gorgeous. It is like hopeful. It's beautiful. It's like wandering and inspiring. It's the CGI, the designs of like the environments. Everything is just breathtaking. Beautiful creativity on screen, and the story and the writing is just.
What are they thinking?
Yeah.
Why the old man makeup for Guy Pearce? Like why not just hire an elderly actor to play that character?
Just hire some.
Reasons.
Yeah.
like get Anthony Hopkins to play that character, or I don't know, anybody else.
An established available actor at the time, like Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, like anybody who could just
Yeah.
do the role of a plot important character who's simply at the time.
That makeup is awful on Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
It's a strange design to choose, like what he went with at the end.
I honestly think the worst part about it, and it's not just Prometheus. Prometheus just really. It was just, I think, a bit more obvious in Prometheus. Why is it whenever characters are running away from something, coming at them at a frightening velocity, an exceptionally dangerous velocity, do they run in a straight line forward where they're not going to outrun what is coming at them? Where they do not stand a snowball's chance in hell of outrunning what's coming at them.
To compare the same shot done by a much smarter film, by a much more competent film crew, okay? Indiana Jones is being rolled down on by a boulder, okay? He's trying to outrun the boulder, he's trying to run down the hallway, but he can't run from left to right. He has to go down the boulder. He knows that. The moment he can change direction, he jumps out of the boulder's path.
Exactly.
Yeah, the moment he has that freedom. This movie is like, you have a desert planet, and there is a donut-sized spaceship from like hell like, rolling directly at you.
Yes, this ginormous donut-shaped thing that is not that wide. You can easily go to the side and get out of danger. But no,
Cue yakety sax.
You run right where it's rolling, and it's stupid.
Ironically enough, I had another Mandela effect moment when watching that scene, because I totally forgot that's where Charlize Theron's character gets taken out.
That's not a Mandela effect. You just forgot.
I could have sworn she was in more.
It's so much more egregious in this movie because all these people were supposed to be so smart and so competent. Yet they couldn't figure out, go to the side.
It wasn't even that. It was like, okay, shortly prior to that sequence is like the big kamikaze job and two of the guys on the ship. And it's very, very explicitly clear. This horror movie has too many people in the cast by the end. We need to create some kind of means of, getting them out of the picture.
Killing them.
Yeah, getting rid of them one by one. So we don't have to pay them anymore, so we can keep the movie going. But at the same time, we need to have a hopeless situation. So let's crash the only ship means of getting home.
Uh, God, so many layers to this onion that is Prometheus.
I mean, can we all agree on one thing? The best thing about it is Fassbender.
Yeah.
Like, by far and away, he is excellent in this movie.
He is really good.
Like,
Great performance.
I loved watching him watch Lawrence of Arabia at the beginning of the movie.
Just seeing him, like, I don't know, live his artificial life by himself for the first not the first 5 minutes of the movie, but the bits that were in space and everybody was frozen. Those were really good.
Setting the tone. You see he's basically a child. Like, he's imitating everything around him. He's learning. He's basically just being a young man.
He thinks he's people.
He thinks he's people, yeah.
Aww. Well, Kieran, what did you think?
I try not to think about it.
Okay, I take it that was a very negative opinion.
Honestly, by this point, it's been so long since I actually watched it, I've forgotten most of what happened. But I do remember that I disliked it.
Okay.
You seen this one before? Was it your first time, or?
Huh?
Have you seen this movie Prometheus before? Was it your
First time.
Okay.
Even bigger question, kind of. Is this your first ever time watching a movie in the Aliens universe?
No.
Oh, so you've actually seen the originals, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe I've seen one, and I think two.
Yeah, those are the
I know
best.
I've seen one. I think
They're
I've seen two, but I know I've seen the first one at least a few times.
I know Phil and Joe are not necessarily particularly fans of Prometheus.
Not at this time. Like, I just consider it less than average now. Whereas before, it broke my heart.
It's kind of evolved slightly into a so bad it's good movie,
Oh.
as far as I'm concerned. It's graduated from being a bad movie to being The Room of sci-fi movies.
That
There's no
is so
disaster
insulting to everybody in it. Because one of the things that made The Room the singular experience that it is how badly everybody is, how horrible everybody is at trying to act. They're just,
At least we got the disaster artist
painful.
from The Room.
Yes. Now that actually
Can't
really
say that
entertained
about
me.
Prometheus.
I like Prometheus. Okay.
Next movie's my favorite.
Okay. Dog Soldier
This is the best one I picked by far.
with Liam Cunningham and Kevin McKidd. I love Kevin McKidd.
Joe, you were really bad night.
This was a great movie, but a terrible night for you to pick it, because I was either under the weather or sleep deprived, so I fell asleep for a good 10 to 15 minutes. Not because it was a legit bad movie. It was actually really, really good. I just didn't have the energy to stay awake. But
I think
I
it's
love
the
it.
one movie that you picked that we'll actually all agree is good.
But I knew this was good going in. It was always a ringer. It feels kind of cheap to pick it, actually.
If
Don't know
it
if I'd call
weren't
it a
for
ringer, but-
Kieran,
What's good?
if it weren't for Kieran, I would definitely call it a ringer. I mean, come on. Liam Cunningham, Kevin McKidd, Sean Pertwee. Excellent cast.
Like,
Good story. I like the way they dealt with it.
Cool design for the wolves, too.
Vaguely competent protagonists. I mean, that's a little
Yeah.
different from the norm. That is something I enjoyed.
shocking.
The Sarge was so funny. Knock me out. So we got you little pussies. Hit him a second time.
You say that's funny. That actually strikes me as something genuine that would actually happen in the military.
I know.
Oh yeah.
But okay, oftentimes the best comedy is stuff you would actually see in the real world, but just don't normally think about.
What it really does well is it makes you endear to the characters.
Yeah.
Because like you don't know anything about these guys going in, and after you, it's like, okay, I don't want that guy to die now. Like he's really funny.
Well, I always liked Kevin McKidd's character because, doggo best character.
He's an advocate for doggos, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be the best character regardless of our opinion. Even the Sarge can't compare anymore.
No. And I really like Kevin McKidd, so there's that. I love the story. I like the way that these military guys, they handle it like, any normal mission. Like if they were under fire, if they were threatened in a war zone or whatever, they handled it with tactics and intelligence and firepower. They didn't just sit there and, oh no, we're all gonna die.
What I didn't remember from when I first watched this, like, oh god, it's been forever since I first watched it, was how distinctly UK British it is. Because they, like, you can clearly tell, like, it's made with the UK in mind for those guys. Like, their accents and
Oh, are
everything.
you kidding? Like, it's the freaking army in general really shows that.
Like, it's the most, like, SAS focused thing ever. Like, if you can get past that, it's just a brilliant horror movie. It's really fun from beginning to end.
I mean, I love Liam Cunningham, and I thought seeing him as a villain was going to be the most unique part about this movie. Turns out the most unique part about the movie was me seeing him for the first time ever without a beard. Because he's one of those actors that I'm so used to seeing with facial hair that I'm like, wait, that's Liam Cunningham.
Yeah.
Where's the beard? He has no.
Oh.
Really? What have I seen him without a beard before? I can't think of anything.
Oh, come on. You've seen Liam Cunningham a few times before without a beard. I mean, surely you have over the years. He's been in a lot of...
I can't think of one thing without the beard.
I don't think he knew who Liam Cunningham was before Game of Thrones.
Like, I was...
True, but even that's a good decade ago now.
And Dog Soldiers was almost 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
To this movie. Like, I'll tell you why I picked this movie. I picked this movie because it's consistently on everybody's like top 10 werewolf. Like, American Werewolf in London is like never be topped at this rate. 2 is always The Howling for some strange reason. The Howling is kind of I do like the movie The Howling. It just has really great transformation sequences in it, but the story has to be. It's a slow burn. This is always number 3. Like always.
It's an excellent movie.
And it deserves to be. I think this should be number 2.
Well, I might even tie it with 1. Anyway.
There aren't enough good werewolf movies out there, honestly.
No.
It's a strange genre. It's a strange topic.
Well, it's just creature feature.
Yeah.
Well, the 3 of us who've seen Supernatural can probably agree that the werewolves look better than the ones in that show. When they're just people pretending to be wolves.
I don't know. Like that first season episode of Supernatural where Sam has to shoot somebody.
Oh man, yeah, the girl.
That is still a heart-wrenching image in my mind.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's a great episode. I'm not denying that, but I'm just talking about the effects for the wolves, which are pretty much non-existent.
But if the story's good enough, the effects don't matter.
I guess.
There's a lot more to life than the pretty. Okay. Anybody else have anything else to say on Dog Soldier?
I mean, just thought the frickin' wolves looked awesome. They were awesome wolf effects or whatever you want to call it, practical effects, whatever.
Second favorite of the list.
The ending.
If you don't include the last one, it's kind of a ringer.
Yeah, the ending.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Doggo makes it.
No, Kieran,
I mean,
how perfect is the tabloid ending to this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Was it the World Cup thing or something
5-2.
on the fucking front?
Yeah,
And then it's
Yeah.
just tucked away in the corner. It's like, yeah, if this actually happened in real life, that's totally legit.
England beat Germany, wasn't it?
something like England v Germany is like 5-2. We won, hooray! And it's like a tiny little tabloid.
Germany's like forever the English rivals, honestly.
Like werewolves ate my squad mates, and it's just a little. It's like a little image of him.
Half.
It just
That's-
echoes the fucking many stupid tabloid like things that we've seen in the past. God, Phil and I could probably quote a few from memory. Like what was it? I kicked a terrorist so hard in the balls I broke my foot.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's another one. It's like I stuffed 12 cream eggs up my bum. You can Google these. These are real fucking things. Why? I knew it's stupid.
That final gag does, reinforce my point before. Often the best comedy is stuff you would expect in real life, just don't really think about.
Cynical visual.
Yeah.
Completely perfect for the situation. Yeah.
Because I could totally see that in a newspaper. Germany wins the World Cup. My squad mates got eaten by werewolves. Tiny little article.
Holy crap! That doggo survives all the way to the end.
I love the Doggo.
I never even thought of that. Like, that doggo survives everything.
Good dog.
That's a good dog.
Well, wasn't it a Border Collie?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the Border Collie is
Very
smarter
intelligent.
than all those soldiers combined. Border Collies are incredible. Now, I'm not insulting the people at all. Border Collies are just ridiculously intelligent. I mean, it's scary how smart
I
those
thought
dogs are.
the Border Collie thing was that they're so intelligent that keep them still. Like, they're very active dogs because of it.
Yes. They have to be constantly mentally and or physically stimulated, or they go batshit crazy. And they get very destructive if they don't have something to do.
So this is your
Okay.
second one on the list, Kieran? What was your first?
Second favorite on the list.
Oh, come on, it's
First,
obvious.
if you don't include the last one, which I said was kind of a ringer.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be Kieran's favorite from the beginning.
So which one's next, Carol?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Carol's least favorite movie.
My problem with it is there was only one person singing who could actually sing.
Oh, come on, two.
Danny John Jules?
He wasn't a main.
And yeah, he was barely in the movie. He was in, like,
Yeah, the three young ladies that basically provided the background chorus, they could sing. But I'm talking the main characters, the reason that you're watching
too.
this.
Both Audrey and Audrey 2.
Yeah?
Who played
Two
the plant? Because
Oh,
he was great.
Shit, I knew his name.
He was a doo-wop singer.
look at
But
him.
he can sing. I mean, that's fair to say.
Carol, like, you hit the nail on the head with the gag right at the beginning when they put Audrey 2 out and display in the window.
Levi Stubbs.
Thank you, Kieran. And the guy walks in. Like, wow, that's an amazing plant. Like, he was just like the guy from.
Why are you there? Like,
No, he was just like that guy from the other movie we saw a while back. What was it? Oh God, with the Samurai Island.
oh yeah.
With
Yeah.
the monk. Yeah.
That's
That's
just-
disgusting.
Oh, sorry.
With the guy
Rough Horse.
Yeah. The guy who took the flying kick at the side of a truck. Okay, that was bright.
But I love that gag with the guy. Well, that's a strange plant. I needed to come in here to see that strange plant.
Would you like some free money?
Was Audrey? Wait, was that ever established that Audrey was brainwashing people? Because I feel that it just gets, brushed over.
I mean, the plant is so unique. Look.
It is mentioned, like roughly, or at least alluded to.
What gave it away? The Mean Green Mother from Outer Space song?
Yeah. Pretty sure that gave it all away.
It should
there was
also.
there was the conversation between Audrey Stewart and Seymour. Essentially, oh, why do you think things have turned around here? Just quickly.
Yeah, that's
Like,
an
definitely,
implication.
like implication.
Yeah. I just didn't really care that much for it because, one, never been a fan of Steve Martin.
Oh, come on.
Two,
Was great in this movie. Joe, come on. One of your favorite moments from this entire
Yes.
Steve Martin's Dentist song.
I will admit that was probably one of my favorite moments of all of your picks. But he literally comes into the movie singing the "I Am Evil" song. I like to
Yes,
run over
and-
puppies. I like to
Yeah.
kick cats.
and
It's like evil thing.
that just, no. No, that makes me cry. No.
Why?
Don't even joke about those things.
Cat Girl, he dies a horrific death for doing those things.
Which is
so
wonderful.
Yes, but that's
Deserves
the
it and
point.
some.
It's fiction. It does not matter.
I know. I just don't even like hearing about it because
It's come up.
I love puppies and kitties.
Okay, do you remember
Uh-huh.
us watching the previous year, The Hunger? Like, you were just a chicken bucket guy. Like, Steve Martin, he is the chicken bucket, and he doesn't realize it yet. That was the whole point.
Yeah, like that song is there to establish that he's a horrible person. Like that's why that song exists to make you hate him.
You know where that train is going, and it's the canyon at the end of half a mile down the
But-
road.
It still broke one of my cardinal rules of if you can't sing, shut the fuck up and don't make the rest of us suffer.
I thought the Dentist song was pretty good.
I was probably laughing more during that whole sequence than any other sequence in that movie.
But you're more amused by the lyrics. You even admitted when we were talking about it, Steve Martin, not a singer.
No, but
Not
I've
good
never.
at singing at all.
All right, I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, almost 20 years, in fact. I'd forgotten most of the music from the song, from the musical, and I didn't realize it was just so blatant, just how that entrance was. Like the little, it was literally the "I am bad guy" the song, and it broke my
Yes,
mind.
Steve Martin walks on singing, and I use the word loosely, I'm a piece of shit, please kill me to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
It broke my mind for a good 10 to 15 minutes. Like I was laughing that hard, I had to mute myself.
Okay, it does play into the narrative quite well because Seymour is looking for a potential victim to feed Audrey at first. This is the perfect guy.
The idea is he's so obviously like a piece of shit that
And he
he's
so deserves
scum.
it, but it makes it
He
okay.
deserves it.
He missed. He's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not denying any of that. Okay, I see the logic in it. I see how it works. I just, have a very simple request. If you can't sing, shut the fuck up and don't make me hear it. That's why I didn't really care for Little Shop of Horrors. Because of the main people doing the vast majority of the singing, only the woman who played Audrey could actually sing, and holy cow, she could belt it out.
Audrey
Um,
Audrey
Audrey 1 or 2.
Okay,
oh,
yeah, Levi Stubbs, also good.
Huh.
But we had to hear the older guy, we had to hear Rick Moranis, Steve Martin. Ugh. I don't like that.
At least Rick Moranis is really funny though.
This movie also is like the dark.
Yes, we should probably note that we actually saw the extended cut of this movie, the version in which the ending is very much not happy.
Well, it depends on whose, view you're taking.
So
Very happy ending according to the plants.
this is a musical comedy, and despite it being a musical comedy, it had an ending which was like the biggest Debbie Downer of like every film we've watched over, like darker even than the.
Well, that was before, they decided on a different ending because test audience did not react well to the original.
Huh?
No. Well,
1960.
Oh no, people have to have a fucking happy ending. No. Fuck that. The original ending's great.
which is what we saw. And my God, the money put into that original ending is
Budget.
like, can you imagine having to throw all that away just to give the movie a happy ending?
Also, disclaimer: this was our Halloween night movie. This was literally our Halloween night movie on the night.
Yeah, I know. It fit perfectly.
That sneaky.
Okay. So,
Oh yeah. Also, by the by, before we move on, shout out to Bill Murray in like one of the strangest I've ever seen him in. The hyperactive masochist who just like simply just goes to
oh God, Steve
the-
Martin.
like he just
For the
he just went for the most painful root canal he could order.
and he was, yeah.
I love how that pissed off Steve Martin so much. Like, it's not fun torturing people if they like it.
Well, that is a masochist,
Strange character, like very strange character.
He just comes in the movie, does that bit, and walks out.
Like not even the Jim Belushi or the John Candy stuff like was head turning. It was just Bill Murray walking into frame. Whoa! Sits down as his little operation, his examination, and see you.
The John Candy, I don't know, scene, cameo, whatever, at least serves a logical purpose. It's there to show you that Seymour is becoming popular.
Yeah, he's moving up in the world.
Hmm. But there is a psychological thing where some sadists just
He's the
are not
ultimate-
happy with an actual masochist. They can inflict more harm on someone who does not like the harm.
That's a horrible debate to
Yeah.
think of.
Well, there are serial killers who,
Like sadism is only
That
sadism
category.
because the person doesn't like it, rather than
You're making me think of the whole Golden Watch segment of Pulp Fiction now, and replacing Bruce Willis with my mind with Bill Murray's character.
And then again, though, Carol, maybe the opposite is true. Maybe the masochist who takes it isn't enjoying it because he knows the sadist isn't enjoying it either. I mean, to and fro. That's how a relationship works, isn't it? I mean,
could be,
creepy.
I suppose, in theory. But yeah, to our ratings. So, Kieran, what's your favorite of the movies?
I already mentioned. What's this?
Yeah, he likes Little Shop.
Little Shop of Horrors. Phil?
I think everybody's worst is going to be exactly what I expect it to be. My favorite was Dog Soldiers by far.
Joe?
Trick or Treat, but only because I slept through a little bit of Dog Soldiers. Had I seen the entire movie, that might have been my favorite.
Screw you, Mike. Did you just pick up the DVD cover then to read what it was as well?
But I
For
shout
me, it
out
was
to Dog Soldiers.
My favorite was Dog Soldiers, followed very, very closely by Trick or Treat. I really love anthology movies. Not all of them, but I like the format, especially when it works well, like Trick or Treat. And for me, I thought Mortuary Collection also worked really well. But my favorite, hands down, I mean, to the point that I would call it a ringer because it's so great, is Dog Soldiers. And least favorite? Kieran?
I don't know.
Which one did you hate the most?
It's kind of close between Trick or Treat and Prometheus, but probably Trick or Treat.
Okay.
Not my thing.
Joe? Least?
Club Dread. Not even close.
Fildo?
Club Dread easily.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the bad singing.
Seriously?
I seriously
You
cannot.
would put Club Dread over Little Shop of Horrors.
Club Dread was silly, and if I'm in the mood for silly,
Oh my god.
If you were to ignore the bad singing parts of it, what about the rest of the movie?
Yeah, like the special effects with Audrey too. I mean, puppetry's incredible.
middling.
Oh, come on. That
Also-
puppetry is amazing.
That puppet was incredible. The puppet.
I'm pretty sure I was drinking while we were watching Club Dread. That might have influenced my opinion.
Okay.
I might have had a glass or two of mead, which may have influenced my opinion a bit.
And by the way, the reason I primarily picked Trick or Treat is because I've already seen Little Shop of Horrors, and it was kind of a ringer. And Dog Soldiers I liked a lot, but it was a bad night for me viewing it because mentally I wasn't fully there. And both were phenomenal movies. Also, Trick or Treat was just a new experience for me, and I was in the right state of mind to enjoy it.
Which is why I've got a higher review of Club Dread. I was just in the right state of mind to watch stoner humor, basically.